what do you do? Right? You feel stuck. You feel alone. You feel defeated. You feel a little bit lethargic. You're looking. You're busy. But something just ain't clicking. Can you relate to that? Something just ain't clicking somewhere. So what do you do? It is so easy to fall into depression. It's easy to fall back and look at the escapes from early on in life that would get you nowhere. You remember those escapes that you used to do when maybe you were at home as a little child or as a teenager and there was troubles at home. Sometimes it feels like we're at like wit's end. It feels like we've exhausted all of our resources, right? Like we've, I hear people say this, and in fact, I might even say it every once in a while. Man, I've tried everything. It's funny. It's very easy though. It's very easy to fall into depression. It's easy to fall into a state of mind where you just feel like, you feel like you're all alone. You feel like nobody really understands you. You try to communicate. Maybe even some people that are close to you, right? You try to communicate with them, but it's like something's missing. I have to laugh because it happens all too many times. The person that is failing, well, at least you're failing. You know what I'm saying? You could be not failing, but what is that failure an indicator of? Is it an indicator that you're making progress, or is it an indicator that you're being ignorant, right? Doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result is what I hear they call insanity. Can you relate to the world's -- problem, gambling interventionist? Better be careful, I don't let you see my journal. Can you relate to what I'm sharing with you, with what I'm sharing with myself in this video also? What do we do? If we say we don't know, we keep cutting ourselves off from creative resources in the mind. Or should we be asking questions a little bit differently? Right? I'm failing in all of these areas. I'm learning, but failing. Do I like where I'm at? Am I experiencing the joy that should come with living? Do I have the courage to continue? You know what I mean? Do I have the courage? Do I have the, do I really have the peace? The POM. Oh, it's so easy to slip down the corridor of shame. I failed again. There's another trophy. Put it on the wall. Somebody told me, Santos, why don't you focus on the wall of fame on this side? And every time that you accomplish something great or small, mental trophy, Santos, put it on that wall over there. Because there's many more on the wall of shame. And the wall of shame is going to be really, really staring at you most of the time, because darkness and negativity is 10 times more greater, or even 12 times more greater than the positivity. Can you relate to what I'm sharing in this video? What do we do? I have this program that I do. I'm really changing the name of it because it really is about finding a solution and finding your answer. It's a power talk, right? It's about finding solution. Sometimes I'm finding a little bit of a challenge finding the solution in that program, because I have different types of people coming in and out, and sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't show up, and sometimes they're late. So I've got all of these wonderful things going on. I have to ask myself, am I failing? What's going on here? Do we have friends? Do we have a community? Do we have the tools that we need to succeed in this in this matrix of a system that we live in? Above the matrix. I find, this is my observation, I find that when I run into struggles and challenges that are in front of me that I know that I need, they've come into my life because there's a need for them. The pen is mightier than the sword. Can I draw a sword here? Here's my sword. Let me see if I can draw it. Better be careful, because sometimes you gotta have two, right? Sometimes they don't work. All right. So let me put the handle here. All right, my friend. There's my sword. The pen. Paper. When I start putting things down on paper, sometimes it's not as clear as I wanted to come out of my head or out of my spirit or out of my bowels, right, of compassion. Could be excited, could be joy, revelation, could be fear, could be love. But I write it down, and then I try to look at it and say, well, that's not right. It's not coming out the right way. So then I change it up a little bit. Okay, this looks a little better. Hey, next thing you know, I'm looking at something written on paper that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. But putting it into action is another story. I'll have to get into that in another area in another video. But I find, of course, once you have it written down, it's a lot easier to take action. Because you can't go in the direction if you don't know where you're going, right? You wouldn't get into a vehicle with somebody, a Ferrari. Well, maybe you would, I don't know. It's an 8-hour drive, and there's no destination. Nice car, nice ride, fast, right? But there's no destination. Would you get in that Ferrari? How about if it's just Maybe it's 8 hours. What if it was 8 years down the road? You traveled 8 years down the road only to find out that you were climbing the wrong hill. At least you have time to recycle. You have time to redeem yourself there, right? It's difficult sometimes when you're almost half a century, 50 years of age, and you realize, wow, man, I've been on that journey, but it wasn't the right one. And you learn, right? You go back. Hindsight is 20/20. Journaling has been a blessing in my life. It has been a life transformational tool for me. I believe it's not just for me, it's for many, many thousands and millions of people probably out there. Will it be for you? I'm not sure. This is your choice. If you need help in getting started and how to do this, and strength through peace, man. I am the world's #1 problem gambling interventionist. I am Santos Jr. Making every day, practicing every day, working on every day, super fantastic, terrific, and over the top in spite of and because of. My friend, I'll see you at the top. If this video makes sense, share it with somebody that you care about. Leave a comment, a thumbs up, a share, Soldier Scribed, and check out the stuff below down there in the description. I believe it's called S.I.T.E.C, right? Stay in touch, email communication. Stay in touch, email communication. Breathe with me one time, real quick. Take action.